Hi, how you doing, and welcome back to another video on the channel. What we have for you today is our wildcard video going into Game Week 20. We're halfway through the season, and with that they've released the second wildcard chip in FPL, so we've got a 96% rated team for you here today. Even if you're not planning on using the second wildcard this early, maybe this video will help you out with some ideas on where to go with your free transfers next. If it does and you're new to the channel, why not subscribe? All the support is greatly appreciated, especially as we try and close in on 300 subscribers. So let's get into the team, and we're going to start with the goalkeepers. Recently we've been going for Raya in net, and he's still a good choice, but for value for money we're going with Sells. Nottingham Forest look like they're here to stay. They actually rank first in the Premier League in clean sheets with 8 in 19 games, and Sells also ranks 9th in saves among all keepers. They've got Wolves and Southampton in the next 3, and even if they do concede, you're likely to pick up a few save points along the way. Into defence, and well, let's start with Trent. Liverpool are just so in form right now. It might look a bit knee-jerk given his 15 points against West Ham, but he's been on the cusp of those points for a while, and when you look at mid-price midfielders and compare them to Trent's value, there's just no one who really stands out in comparison. Liverpool have 7 clean sheets already, and he can score points a few different ways. Anthony Robinson ranks 3rd in all players for assists and has Ipswich, West Ham and Leicester in the next 3, all with great clean sheet potential. He remains to be a must get in if you don't own him already. I've gone for a Villa defender, which might seem a bit out there, but good fixtures create good form, and their next few look great from a defensive point of view, with Leicester, Everton, West Ham, Wolves and Ipswich in the next 6. We've also gone for Lewis Hall and Bednarek on the bench. Hall can rotate in against anyone really. He's nailed to start and plays for the most formed team in the Premier League in Newcastle. So we don't need to go into too much detail with Palmer and Salah. I find it difficult to believe there's many active FPL managers who don't own Salah right now. Palmer also has that explosive ability to score points, and if he's owned by 68.9% of FPL managers, which coincidentally is exactly the same amount as Salah. Anthony Gordon has started to return a bit more consistently recently with 5 attacking returns in his last 6. At 13.2% owned, he still represents a fantastic differential with great attacking fixtures: Spurs, Wolves, Bournemouth, Southampton and Fulham in his next 5 games. Eze might have underperformed from an FPL point of view so far, but if you remember at the start of the season, everyone was raving about him, and even when he wasn't returning, he was actually really unlucky in those games earlier on. After the Chelsea match, Palace are up there with the best fixtures in the entire league. They've got Leicester, West Ham, Brentford, Man United, Everton and Ipswich in the next 8. I'm a big fan of Iwobi right now. He looks really confident and ranks 6th in midfielders for bonus point system points, showing just how much he's involved with Fulham's positive play. So we've got a Newcastle triple up in this squad. Isak is the most informed player right now and has been brought in by 3 million managers in the last 4 weeks. There's no need to overthink it or go against it. I would get him in if you haven't got him already. I've also selected Chris Wood. Now he just doesn't seem to be slowing down with his returns and remains the best option for the price. 11 goals in 19 games is just a brilliant return, and Nottingham Forest as a team, like we say, are really turning it up and seem to be super consistent this season. Now one thing this team didn't have is an Arsenal player. Jesus might not be the best option, but with Saka out, if he can stay fit, he'll at least get minutes and chances. Everyone else is just a bit more expensive, and he's only 6.8% owned, so he could be a great price differential. You'll need to take some risks in order to climb the ranks, and whilst we've got some high owned players, you do also need to sort of take those risks in order to get those ranks increase in your mini leagues. So shout out to Fantasy Football Hub. This team is rated 96%, which is one of the highest ones we've had. Now we always say, you know, if you're looking at the data, you're going to be disappointed because the teams don't always play as well as you'd hoped, and likewise there's some players who the data says are doing terribly who will just get some massive returns in any given game week. But 96% does at least show that we're on the right tracks and we're not betting against the data too much. So this team is valued at 101.2 million, which is a little bit on the expensive side. It's not too expensive though, and like we always say, players like Salah and Palmer, maybe Isak, if you've owned them for a while, you won't need to buy them from scratch. This team value is if you don't own any of these players right now. So if you already own 1, 2, maybe 3, you're going to save some money there. And I would like to think at this stage in the season, if you're an engaged FPL manager watching the content, then you probably can afford this team, or at least some of them, and then some cheaper alternatives as well. So the strengths for me are it has great bench depth, and if you are struggling to, fit all the players in for the price, it's quite easy just to downgrade someone like a Lewis Hall if you wanted to a 4 million defender and save yourself the money there. And it also gets points from all positions. We've got some great defenders, midfielders and strikers, a lot of players who are scoring consistently, or a lot of players who are about to turn the corner in terms of good fixtures and hopefully carry that form in as well. So when I look at the team and potential weaknesses, it's limited Arsenal. We've only got Gabriel Jesus. There's no Arsenal defender. Now you could downgrade someone like Trent, or you could downgrade someone like Eze to a really cheap midfielder and upgrade someone like Matty Cash to a Gabriel without really any problem. You could swap a 6.6 million midfielder to a 4.5 and then upgrade Matty Cash to 6.3 Gabriel or Saliba and get an Arsenal defender in that way. There's also no Man City, which if I was picking anyone, I'd probably go with Savinho right now just for the price per points, good value for money. But there's not really anyone that would stand out for me. I don't like the defence. I don't think they're going to keep clean sheets consistently. And I also feel like someone like Haaland is just too much money right now, and you can definitely reinvest that elsewhere. So let me know what you think about the team. Let me know if you are going to use the wildcard this game week as soon as you've got it and what transfers you're going to make. Likewise, if you've got any general transfer questions, pop them in the comments. Always great to hear from people and chat FPL. Please do subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you in the next one.